In a statement, Woolworths Group says there's been a gradual decline in demand for Australia Day merchandise over the years, and that there's been broader discussions about 26 January and what it means to different parts of the community.
I think people should boycott Woolworths. I would advise very strongly to take your business elsewhere. A lot of the investors demand all of these woke agendas.
One company not following in Woolworths' footsteps is competitor Coles, who are stocking a small range of Australian-themed merchandise throughout January. And news late this afternoon, Aldi also not stocking its usually massive range of Australia Day apparel.
And this morning we have this rather extraordinary standoff between the federal opposition leader Peter Dutton and one of Australia's corporate leaders, the boss of Woolworths, Brad Banducci, in the wake of Mr Dutton's call for Australians to boycott Woolworths for making a business decision not to stock extra Australia Day merchandise. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I think it is an extraordinary statement from Peter Dutton, Michael, an example of him overreaching because of his desire to always be negative, always be divisive, divide Australians, find political point-scoring opportunities rather than trying to bring the country together. I mean, only this week you've seen where the government's priority is when it comes to supermarkets, and that's the prices they're charging at the checkout. We've appointed Craig Emerson just this week to conduct that review of the Food and Grocery Code, which is all about the conduct of supermarkets when it comes to their customers and their suppliers. But in the meantime, we've got Peter Dutton. His priority is starting another culture war about the kind of thongs and flags that supermarkets sell. I just think it shows he's really out of touch with what Australians really care about when it comes to supermarkets, and that's the prices they're paying at the checkout.
In a broader economic sense, Woolworths employs more than 200,000 Australians, and hypothetically, if a lot of Australians acted on Mr Dutton's call and stopped shopping at Woolworths, is the government worried about the impact that would have on the company and employment levels?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the consequence of Peter Dutton and his constant desire to divide and be negative, is that he's prepared to put the jobs of about 200,000 workers at risk at Woolies just to score a cheap political point. They are not the actions of a leader. They are not the actions of someone who wants to be the Prime Minister of this country. We've seen this morning that Aldi have now said that they're going to be doing the same. Is he going to be calling on Australians to boycott Aldi now as well, with more jobs at risk? I mean, at some point you've got to, if you want to be the Prime Minister, you've got to be someone who can unite the country rather than always shout at Australians, be divisive, be negative, and never put up any solutions. And that's unfortunately what Peter Dutton is.
Good move.
Absolutely. And he's hit the nail on the head there by talking about they're trying to keep their investors happy. The two major shareholders of Woolworths are BlackRock and Vanguard, that evil global elite who own basically everything and therefore everyone. And they're solely responsible for marching out Agenda 2030. And if you know what that's all about, you don't want to shop at Woolworths. Stop giving your money to people who hate you and see human beings as a scourge on the planet. We've got to cut down the population, etc., etc.